Hey, all this is an Oasis, and this is part 31 now. This is going to be the final part for today. And stuff that we are continuing the grind, of course, obviously. And, you know, things are going pretty well, I would say. We won and we went on the buying spree and stuff that. Now, sad, you know, I forgot how to tell the difference between the Murasame and the Yoshiyuki. The Yoshiyuki is crooked, right? It's a bit crooked at the front and it's slightly longer than the Murasame is. Freaks fat chocobo. And the fat chocobo happens very often now. The fat chocobo has way higher attack power. That's actually pretty funny. And you hear that it had a different sound there because chainsaw does a different type of damage. 3 explosions as well. So I mean, we got a bunch of bolt plumes, which is nice. Not the best thing in the world, but still. And now, because now we've gotten everything for most of the towns, except of course for the. Actually, I think we need to go the long way around. I don't think there were a way to go south here and get to the place now. We need to go the long way around, I'm pretty certain. Oh no, we actually will need to go this way in order to get to the place, right? Yeah. I thought if it connected over here, yes it does, okay, so fine. Still. Because this is how you get close to Rocket Town, of course, obviously. The fact that even Rocket Town wasn't in Rebirth, like, so, okay, they had a bunch of stuff to Rebirth, but then they literally cut away stuff that is on, like, disc 1 and stuff that yeah, you don't get to visit Rocket Town, you don't get to visit Wutai. Yeah, so Rocket Town is missing, Wutai is missing from Rebirth, and stuff that you only go into Yunnan once and then you cannot go back into Yunnan, even though it's a very, very beautiful town. Like, it just feels like absolute ass, like, okay, but they know that, oh, we're gonna go back into Yunnan for the underwater reactor and stuff that, yeah, but what happens after that to do the city becomes locked again? That's the thing that I'm worried about. They're just gonna be like, oh yeah, now the city is locked, you can only visit once because otherwise it would take up too much space on the hard drive, you know, whatever, right, you know. I would feel really bad if that is the case, and also that, yeah. And imagine if one of these counted as being able to land on or whatever, right? That's, you know, that's something else, you know. That's the road have been funny, there's Midgard. And yeah, so the grind would take longer if we do with these weapons instead of the double AP weapons. Stuff that obviously, but you know. The thing is just I feel like it's better used to do it with these weapons because now you have more defense and stuff that, and we should also have, technically we should have high damage as well. And stuff that. And I mean, this is also a good place to grind money, so eventually, right, that, you know, if we grind, because we need to grind enough money here, of course, because, again, we need to have the Omni Slash, of course, obviously, and stuff that. Now, are we going to do the cheating way to get Omni Slash, or are we going to do the Yeet way? I mean, I would say that there are multiple legit ways you can do it. There is one strategy that I know can work, although it's a dumb strategy and it's very, very reliant on the RNG you get, but you know, I talked about it before, but before when I tried to show it, you know, it went like absolutely horrible because you use Fury Ring and then you're berserked and then you do a lot of damage, but yes, limit breaks can do more damage, right? So for that, and throwing away your limit breaks are really bad, but of course, the thing is that you use Yoshiyuki specifically. Because if you stick Yosuke out here, Yosuke is stronger even than the actually than his actual weapon and stuff like that. So yeah, Yosuke is stronger, and supposedly it should have the triple effect when you're using it and stuff like that. But yeah, now, however, if we wait until after Temple of Ancient, for example, then we can have Ribbon, of course, meaning like we are immune to most statuses. With that, then we can also have Dragon Armlet, so we have like elemental damage. Because see, here's the thing, right? I want to basically grind up some kills also with Yuffie and stuff like that. Now, I don't know technically if Barret uses up all the charges of Chocomog, can he get kills with that even? Like, because Chocomog is not super expensive, although it does kind of stack up. Yeah. Because this is of course 64 to cast one of these. 452 rather. Cost tier 3 spells. One problem is, of course, is that Chocomog is 14 each, so it's 1428, and then it's, the other value or whatever it is, but yeah. Please give me... nice. Kiss Melanie. Use 5-3 then, and see if it's actually, if they're actually weak to 5-2, they die from us in 5-3. No, they do not die from a single one. Clear Tranquil though. Chocomogers. What's your damage with Chocobo? For 9,000. So maybe we should just eventually go back and buy several more earrings or something like that. Definitely. Although we can technically very soon get Circlet, but you will probably have earring. He will have power raised. Or you will have, or you can have Choco Feather actually. Oh, come on. Come on. Alright, so she was getting pretty close, if it's getting pretty close. Chocomog will of course be the first one to gain the thing, but yeah. Now, of course, the thing is, yes, that this will be a lot slower now, because something basically time ran out if I could fully say it, is that with double of course you gain double the amounts of AP. Meaning, for example, 2 battles is the same as 1 battle, basically. Like, if it's 320 from the best battle that you can do, then it's like 640 instead. And 640 is of course a lot better. But since it's double, right, and since I said, right, that you need 200 battles, right, I think 2 Black Master, Black Titan, or you need even more than that, because basically it's like, so with the double growth you gain 640 for that one, where it's cheaper because it's 320 times 2, so it's 640 times basically like 200 battles would be 128,000. However, you need 180,000, so times 2 that 256,000, which would be enough then. So you need a little bit more than 200. However, if you all of a sudden only get 360 then instead of the 640, right, and you do 200 battles, for example, then you get 72,000. Then you times 2 that, and you get 144,000. So then you still don't have enough. So then basically like 400 battles would still not be enough if you go the solo way. But you might say that 400 battles is not that much, which is true. Also, that 400 battles is not that super much. Like 400 is not super much at all, right? Like it's actually fairly low, right? You know, it's not the highest thing in the world, you know. Just that which is true, of course. 400 isn't like the highest, and so that it's actually fairly decent. Okay. Okay, Ice 3. I'm gonna try the different elements here to see, you know, if and then we show Commodores. Show Commodores. I'm gonna mong your life, blue. I'm gonna pull that. Nice, okay. So we know that one cast of fire, 3 eyes, 3 or probably both 3 as well. It's enough. Satellite beam game. Yo. Okay, you know what? Now things changes a lot. Because now only Smelony will need kill. So we begin with him using Chocomog and then Shield Caster spell. Now don't get me wrong, we will still grind a shit ton of I will still eventually grind a shit ton of fucking the thing from the worm. And if we're powerful enough, right, we can use kill the worm. And then we will be getting 5,000 gil every single time, which will be hilarious. Okay. So again, we start with Chocomog here. Yes, blow. Raise the Chocomog. Man, I would have loved it, man. Imagine in this, right, or in like in the third part, if there's a Chocomog material that can like evolve, that you have to use the Chocomog material somehow as part of the whole Chocomog breeding thing. Landscaper gained. Yeah. Okay, fine. Landscaper is actually insanely good, by the way, because attacks all opponents. Yes, it's an earth attack, if I remember correctly, but the thing is that her limit breaks are some of the best limit breaks in the game. Sure, like Highwind is the most powerful one, like in terms of just raw damage. Like Highwind not only hits very hard, but it hits a lot of times. But the main problem is that you need, like even though the attack power of that is very high, you still need Sid to have a lot of strength or a high level in order for Highwind to be useful. The main problem is also even if you feel equips Conformer, ultimate weapon, and you fight like Emerald weapon, that still won't guarantee that Doom of the Living, for example, deals a lot of damage, because Doom of the Living hits like an insane amount of times. I thought someone said that, it hits 40 times or whatever, but that's actually, when Doom of the Living hits that many times, it's actually that it's part of Lucky 7, because Lucky 7 has interesting functionality together with, because when Lucky 7 triggers, you do a certain amount of hits, but it is possible somehow to hit with limit breaks with that. It is weird how things work, of course, obviously. Yeah, because here is the thing, right? Once we have farmed the kills with her, for her to gain the level 3 thing, then we can start using the infinite limit breaks because then after that we have shown that we can do the grind with kills and stuff like that, because the grinding of the kills is what makes it like legit, of course. You might say, because otherwise the only thing we would need to do after that would be, you know, that we used. Right, you might say, oh, but that's still cheating and stuff like that, sure. But the reason is like that once, for example, because getting the limit break bar to get filled here, for example, like we didn't even finish grenade bomb. But then, for example, what we would have needed to do is just continuously get hit and stuff that, like, we wouldn't do anything else. We would just stand there and just let the characters get hit and stuff that, and eventually we would fill in the break bar. And we would, of course, just remove the cover material and stuff that as well. So, yeah, you know. So Shokumog is very close now. And level 40, 43, 35, 34, 35, 37, 37, 35 kill. Oh, this is so much better, man. This is so much better angle because that just makes it easier to see. The main problem, though, as you can tell here, is of course that she runs out of MP fairly quickly for this setup. And so that we did go with steel with everyone, right? Everyone has steel. Steel, steel, steel. You can see though that steel is earlier than summon. And it's not how late the steel is, so that magic and summon will have priority there, and then steel will go. And it has nothing to do with where it's equipped, right? That even if you would equip, because you see my steel is very late there, but steel is still earlier than summon there. But their steel is often, but that is because I also have magic and then I have summon. And then steel, so it's like very, very different with, you know, the position of it. But then I need 52 for everything. And then we used eventually, we used Shokumog again and stuff that, you know. Yeah, we use Shokumog again with Barret, and then we do the hit and stuff that. And then after that we're gonna start grinding on the beach again for a bunch of dragon skills. And then we're gonna get the kills with dragon skills instead. Because even though this will make the grind longer and stuff that, right, like not using the double AP weapon, sometimes it is used better because, you know, you either have like more attack with these and, you know. Okay, there they are, dude. Shokumog. And then it doesn't matter which one I use here, so we use Fighter here. Pretty certain we still only have one star on the counter-attack though. Yeah. The other thing from my understanding though is also counter-attack could also technically work against weapon. Now there's a thing also that where people say that, oh, you can't use like a lot of material because of attack stop. That is true, but there are ways to prevent him from using it. I believe specifically if you use Bahamut, or specifically I think it's Bahamut 0, I don't think that all of the Bahamuts worked. Because basically it like reduces his chance of using Item Storm and stuff that now. Of course, if you do have like a bunch, you know, then, you know. So you can't rely on casting magic anymore here to get the kills. We do this, we move slightly over here. Right, like right here, I think. Right, yeah. And then we get a long strip of land here. So we can get the steals here. And we can still a bunch of dragon scales, and then we escape, dragon scale, escape, dragon scale, escape, until we have a lot. Because yeah, this is going to be a lengthy grind and stuff that, when it's probably going to take a bunch of episodes, but, it seems like people actually enjoy when you're just grinding something like that, because that is just something you can have on in the background, and it's exciting to see the progress, and stuff that, like, it's actually, like, stole dragon scales. Yeah, the fact that it casts Aqualung is absolutely insane, the dragon scales. And the fact that Barrett has access to satellite beam now is really good. Now, of course, to gain access to Catastrophe, he will need to use the amount of uses with like Renee Bomb and stuff like that, yeah. So now only technically she only needs to get a bunch of kills now to get access to the next thing. But yeah, the first one of course that she gets is, well, she gets Blood Feast. Sandstorm. It's so cute. It's just that one from Dune, but a lot smaller. Scales, run away. Two dragon scales. Because see, the thing is, we cannot also rely on every single battle being the one with 4 enemies. Oh, and the music died. Spooky. Stole dragon skills. Escape. Vacuum cleaner blog. Escaped. It is so freaking weird, man. Now, of course, the enemy lure here would have made this so much better, but it's still not too bad. Steal your materia. Steal your materia. Oh, there we go, dragon skills. But yeah, imagine if you could use steal multiply this stuff that which you can actually do in Final Fantasy IX, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not actually that you steal multiply, right? There are certain items that you can steal multiply of, but usually an enemy or a boss have multiple steals. Usually they have a rare steal, like a common steal. They have like steals at different rarities. Stuff like that. So usually you can have like steal multipliers from a single enemy and stuff like that, because that is something that can be really good. But there are also certain common items that you can use steal infinitely. Like if something I used as a potion, for example, you can just keep on stealing it. Because imagine if instead of having to get to another encounter, we could use steal, and then you just gain more and more and more, How many? 5 dragon scales, that's usually enough. Hell yeah. Oops. Save first. Save at number 10 slot. Middle area, almost 30 hours in. 1 hour left, or like 40 or 55 minutes left. And I'm at 30 hours. Still this one. Not even have the unlock requirement for the Temple of Ancients. And Peter's gonna tell you about the bird. A bird's the word, it's a peacock. Cyber peacock. Storm Owl, who is actually friends with Storm Eagle. Like, it's really interesting to really see, like, man, there could be so many movies they could make, like, similar to the Day of Sigma, right? Like, seeing the actual replicas, seeing what their characteristics is like I wish they would do more animated videos like that about every single one of the X games or whatever, right? You know, once. Alright, and we need to not get kills with Barrett, we only need kills with her. She's the one that should be getting kills. And does this thing 3000 with her? Yes, it does. So yes, still that 3000 damage, I'm pretty certain they aren't weak to water either, so that's just gonna be the damage that it deals. Right, and there, so it's 320 there. So, you know, Chocobo is less than 10,000 now. Then of course, here's the thing, right? Once we have a bunch of stuff mastered, right, then you will start needing less and less slots. As things get mastered, you will have less and less slots. And once the slots are low enough, that's a bit of a problem though. No, we do have a bunch of explosions though. We do have still healing, you know. But yeah, meaning for example, like once Chocobo gets mastered, that can get replaced with something else. And then of course eventually we will reach the point where we won't have enough material slots, or we won't need material slots. So we Landscaper, I think Landscape will actually kill, because it does a lot of damage with her fucking moves. Oh, it only deals 1,000, but that's still like okay-ish damage. Maybe Bolt Bloom twice. Explosion on her actually. Please. Razor Beam! Turk! Yo, 525 damage also. It's basically the front row damage, but since he has a long range weapon, you know. I think we could use Turbo Ether. But now I want to use up the other things first. Stuff that. For Turbo Ether. So that we're gonna be very careful with when we use certain things, right, and stuff that, because you know. Because I would like to only really use the dragon scales when it's the 4 encounter. Although we can use it in the 3 encounter also, because you know. The thing is, we have like 21 like fucking like explosions and stuff that, right, which is like very powerful. And everyone needs in the back of yeah. The thing is also the growth that you get to like level 50, by the way, is like very big. It's a very big difference in terms of health values and, you know, MP values and stuff like that, so yeah. Here we go. Melanie used dragon skills. And the other card is of course really good because it's just the fact that it's also like 2600 actual XP. It's really good. Yoshiva is pretty close to 4 stars. Same thing with Ifrit. Rama is almost at 3 stars. Etin is almost at 3 stars. Store is getting pretty close. Latin is very close to master. Latin is the closest to getting mastered. Cover. Because otherwise, yeah, he gets master. We don't need to have that equipped to the all master, so we can have something else equipped to the all master, of course. So that's the thing, right? Because she only needs to have one of the spells, obviously, in order to kill the stuff. Like she doesn't need to have like all of those different dolls. Yeah, she don't need to have all of them. She only basically needs to have one of them. She only needs to have the 5-3 one in order to actually kill those enemies. That, so like once 5-3 is mastered, of course, we will be only using that. But once lightning, for example, gets maxed out, once lightning gets maxed out, once ice gets maxed out, we can just replace them with something else and stuff that, So as I said, we will reach the point, of course, when we have enough stuff mastered that we can replace those, and eventually we will get down to only needing 4 slots. Because we're not gonna waste time getting everything up, like Death Blow. For example, it's not worth it. Still cost there is 30,000, there is 40,000. Same thing with Death Blow and stuff there, but those will probably take too long. Same thing that I don't think we're gonna get Odin or Kyoto mastered, because both Odin and Kyoto require massive amounts compared to the previous things, which is why I didn't go with those. Because if it's 180,000 or whatever it was that I said it was for, Reach the rising dagger. The thing is, technically, she might be able to at this point, instead of using that, because I think that could work as a strategy actually. Or I'm not 100% certain it could. But how many more? We have 2 more dragon scales. Because one thing we could do, for example, is instead slap on Fury Ring. Because Fury Ring, because Berserk in Final Fantasy VII is actually very powerful. Berserk is very powerful as a status. Because Berserk is considerably more damage. It's not just a little bit more. Generally the Power Wrist on its own doesn't even give close to the damage that Fury does, or Berserk. But Berserk also gets better depending on the weapon you have. And also on the character. For example, the thing that makes the Fury thing work is if you use weapons with high crit. But generally speaking, all of Tifa's weapon gives crit, for example, because he's a monk. That's it, all what makes them work. That's what makes it so powerful. And stuff that Tifa has built-in crit on all of her weapons. Then there are of course the yoke weapons that have crit on them that is much higher than normal. There are also some other weapons that also do have a built-in crit. Basically, the crit chance is basically that they added a crit chance to the weapon. All weapons can obviously crit and stuff that, but certain things have a high chance too. We're just gonna use finishing touch here just so we can get to some piece limit break here. The thing is, yes, her HP is the highest thing in the world, right? Her HP is actually relatively low and stuff that, her HP pool isn't that great. Because again, a lot of explosions. And theoretically, if we need more explosions, also we could steal from the crawlers or the rollers before we like defeat them and stuff that, or before we run from them. Yay, the quadruple encounter, yes, dragon skins. Shabush! Yes. And the fact that is 4,000 in summon, you also have a very, very high chance to get ethers. But the fact that theoretically, 4 ethers could drop because every single one can drop an ether and stuff like that. But the most we have seen has been like 2 ethers drop. But I'm pretty certain, right, that it's always... Okay, so how hard was the explosion steal? Okay, it seems like an easy steal. Right. Let's use some big explosion over that we stole. Okay, good. Chokomog. I think we go Chokomog into Shiva because I don't think that they will even come close to them from one Chokomog here. And Shiva. Because I wanted the other one to stop rolling, because when they're rolling they're like much stronger. Add your Chokomog. No fat Chokomog though. And Landscape, I think Landscape actually ignores also their defense. I think they're weak to it though. Okay, I think that was a crit. Hopefully that was a crit, because otherwise that was pretty hilarious. No, you don't fuck that. And you can see just because it's taking way less damage there. Quite a while still, but that was actually pretty. And you can see, so 2 rollers gives you 1,400 and 160 points there, but yeah. But yeah, those are the enemies you fight if you want explosions and stuff like that, yeah. It means, oh, we need explosions for healing, oh, just, in every single one of those rollers, you can just escape. Of course, I was just going to show you how tough they are to kill. Now, if they don't roll up, they are free, so if you can kill them in 1 hit, then that's really good. So right there's a thing to be like, okay, like sometimes using double AP is way better, but sometimes it is just better to not stick with the double AP because you can have way less material equipped. Having more material equipped, of course, means that you can grow multiple things at once. Because, of course, this is like this is basically like you're comparing like having eight things being double glowed or having like 10. But because Mara Steam is 5 slots, Diamond Bangle is 5 slots, right? Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's 5 plus 5, so it's 10. Because otherwise, basically, it would be like it will be like 4, and then of course it's 4 from the rune omelet as well, so 4. So it's 8 versus 10. And I say, oh, but that's not a big deal. But then when it's 10 from him, then 10 from her, and 10 from him, then it's 30 overall. Right, so yeah, 10, 30, because otherwise it's just 8. So 8 times 3. So it's otherwise 24 versus 30. So it's 24 slots on all 3 characters if they all have like the double, because it's like 8 on each of the characters. So it's 24 versus 30, right? Because it's like 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. So it's just 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it's 30 versus 24, and when you count it that way, then like, okay, yeah, it's like really, really bad, you know, and stuff like that, right? If you count it that way, you know, it's like an absolutely massive difference. Many aethers again, okay, good. And we have 1 more dragon scale. And we're still only at landscape here and stuff. But once we get enough kills with her, of course, we can do other stuff. Could also theoretically use a turbo ether and stuff that, and then just have her use like the triple spell. Dragon scales. What's in the export on her? Maybe. So that was the final dragon scale. Explosion, explosion, explosion. Like turbo ether on her. So now we can start casting like the Fire 3, Ice 3, Bolt 3. Now sadly of course there isn't anything that reduces the MP cost on anything, but of course because the main problem is, for example, like you would need to set up like to master the fire materials, for example, if you want to set up MP absorb also, you won't have both the all effect and the MP absorb effect, you know. Oh, these are... I want to get more explosions actually. Please. Explosions. Please. There we go. Then we select explosion from the other thing. Oh, now we escape. Yeah, the explosions are very, very useful indeed. I love the fact that we can steal explosions there. Because explosions are very powerful. Oh, the line explosions are very, very useful indeed. Stuff that's, yeah. Right, and he uses shock mog. But we're actually gonna explosion her. Spell and uses Fire 3 on everything. Now theoretically right that if you gain enough levels then you won't even need to cast Fire 3 anymore, you can actually kill them with Fire 2, I'm pretty certain. Because it is possible to rise that much, like in how strong you are. Did I remove an earring from her actually? I did. I still have that equipped. I still have a earring equipped, that's good. So Ice is the closest now. I think it's the closest, yeah. Chocomogu is how long far away? Yeah, not that much now. Oh. But yeah, so the gravity strat is the best strat on upper weapon. The question is though, so late was W Magic and where was W Magic from? It's not W Magic right as in an alternate because that is really bad because then you cannot use W Magic for that specific thing because it's used that with Quadra Magic you cast it 4 times. Stuff. Is that enough though? Is 5 really enough for this one, maybe? Oh. Don't use that skill too. Yo, 4000 crit. Okay, so it can hit like insanely hard if it crits. I should drink more water and stuff there because I haven't drinking in a while now. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty insane. Alright. Get more exposures. Your exposure. Exposure. What is that? That is 19. And 19 exposures. So we can just get back on the exposures we spent and stuff that even though they do a lot of damage there, so we almost need to use that exposure, but yeah. That'd be funny. I also mean that, I believe, because they haven't made it so that you can pre-order it, which is a bit sad, of course. I'm pretty certain that they are meant to release a collector's edition of it or whatever, right? Because you know, second person first. Barrett used Chocomog. Barrett used Chocomogers and then she uses Fight. So Barrett uses Yo. Fight. Barbecue. Now the thing is though that with beta, for example, here we could probably do like 3000 damage or whatever because yeah. So much longer, okay, good. 7,000 on that. I'm almost up to wall already there. Revive takes a long time though because it's just because life is just insanely powerful. And stuff that we're almost at Bio 3 also, almost upgraded Demi 2. Because the thing is, you cast use regular Demi with because it's weak to Demi attacks, it's underwater of course obviously. Which is why that can explain it, and it's also because of the massive mass that Emerald Weapon is. Because Emerald Weapon is actually really heavy. Emerald Weapon is actually like more like a warship or anything, like he's a machine. But you could say that all the weapons are machine, but that's actually untrue. But he looks like he's a submarine, but except like, you know, like a big submarine, like a transformer almost, like, you know, and maybe the weapons all combined, you know, into Omega Weapon. No. But the fact that the Ultimate Weapon exists in the original game, I mean, the Omega Weapon exists, but Omega Weapon is linked to Vincent, like when like the whole planet is about to get destroyed and Omega Weapon appears or whatever it is. You know, I forgot the actual story. So Chocomogers, and then fight you after Chocomogers. Chocomogers. The kamikaze, and I like how it bounces, like the bounces like that. Yes. And so it's at least 3 kills, but at most it's 4 kills. Although, right, the thing though is that there is an encounter that we cannot get that you can only get as the main part of Medell, I think, because I think that there is a 4 or a 5 encounter with headhunters because they're small enough of an enemy to have. Because 5 enemies are the most that can ever be on the thing. But yeah, the 4 one is very, very good as well, obviously. So Shokamog into fight 3. Because the thing is, if we don't use up any MP at all healing, and all the healing we do is with the potions, that is really good. Now the main problem though, if we want to get more turbo ethers, we have to go back to the desert prison and go inside and then face the worms there. There's Ramu. So Ramu is now level 3. Good. Odin's level 2 actually. Kyoto's getting close to level 2. Yeah, you can see then it requires 10,000 there for the 3rd level. Or it's actually more than that because he gained it a long time ago there. So you already have 21,545 there on that. Shokamogers have 28,543 and it's almost so it is more than what is that it's at 28,543 plus I need 6,457. That's 35,000 is what that maxes out at. So 35,000 for Shokamog. And then literally, then Shiva is the 2nd one, Ifrit is the 3rd one, Romo is the 4th one, right? Yeah. And then Titan is the 5th one, and that one needs 180,000. So like it's it's a big. You have to realize then how much that means that every single one climbs in terms of the cost. Like it's absolutely insane that it climbs that much, cost-wise, it's that big of a difference. It's not that now, obviously, right? Lighting is getting pretty close now. Ice is very close. Lighting is very close, and stuff like that. But once those are mastered, of course, we don't need to use lightning. We don't need to use ice. Fire we need to keep, of course, obviously, because for reasons. Because you can use it once more because of the 52 cost there, but you won't be able to use it again after that. Unless with Turbo Ether. The triple encounter though. Actually, we might be able to open here actually. Use Landscaper. So why is she the chosen one though? Because why does she have literally, she has like, you have to think about her what usually means for the town basically, because how she uses, first off she's using healing power, but she's using healing power with water, like it's very, very clearly water that she uses. So now we got all of them, and we Odin, Steel Blade Sword. Are we gonna cut up everything? And I believe Odin is the cheaper, right, than casting like the Fire 3, Ice 3 and stuff like that. But I know this is not 100% chance here. Cut up anyone. Yo! Triple! Unless 2100, that's like the best barrel that you can get in like the Union part. I'm pretty certain that's exactly the same. That's pretty cool. There was a thing I said I was gonna do though, which we're gonna go and do, because I want to get that weapon. We don't need cash for the weapon though. But then, I mean, even if we run out of turbo ethers here, we still have regular ethers we can use. Oh, right. And we can get pretty close if we take the correct one here. We can get actually very, very close to it. That's not even the closest. There is a closer one, I think. Is that even reachable? This is, yeah, this is the Provincials, yeah. Oh no, you cannot go further there. I don't think there was a way to reach that beach, no. Doesn't seem to be, sadly. That would be really, really cool though if you could get that close to it. Or whatever, but yeah. But there is the thing, right, if we really want to get the kills, we could use like do against like easy enemies and then just cast like 5-1 or whatever, right, you know. Stuff that, yeah. First we're gonna heal up though before we do this. We're gonna heal up. Right in here. Because this is a free heal we can take, of course, obviously. It's a free heal. So we need to steal here, of course, obviously. And the thing we're after is, of course, the W machine gun is what we're after specifically. I forgot. Yeah, you don't change weapons yet. I don't think here machines actually all has machine guns stuff that way. Yeah, the thing is, we want to meet the custom sweeper specifically only. Like I said that I wasn't allowed to do it until later, but the thing is that the W machine gun is just something we need, and we have proven ourselves being able to get powerful here, but we're not gonna like abuse the other grand spot here, because the fact is that right, like, why is this grand spot better than the Medil one? Because Medil one, first off, like meeting meeting the correct enemies aren't easy. Getting the 3 elephant enemies here is considerably easier than getting the 4 headhunters. It's actually rarer, I'm pretty certain that it is. Yeah, because there are sometimes when you can use the custom sweeper use so many times and all, or not custom sweeper, it's called the death machine. It's called the death machine for a reason, pal. It's called a fucking death machine. You just need to fight off against a death machine. Yeah. Boy, it's just a death machine. You just need to face off a death machine. We just get it first encounter. No, that's not the correct one. However, they have... what is their steel? Is it like M tentacles? Just okay, smoke bomb, okay. Yeah, and I'm just gonna do until I get the W machine gun here. Then I'm gonna save here, and we're gonna start here inside the Union, like next recording session tomorrow.